Good day, friends. I hope you're doing well. It's Frankie Rose. Welcome to my channel where we discuss crime updates. Today I had the pleasure of talking with PI Jim Terry, who is the owner of Gulf Coast Investigations. He is also the man who was working on the Dylan Rounds case that has become quite controversial. So, without too much babble, I will get right into the interview. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to know what you think. What I've been finding with you is I've been following you since you started, and you're brutally honest, and I like that. I trust that more than somebody who is trying to kind of hide in the back a bit. I can accept brutally
Yeah,
honest.
it's just, I guess I don't understand the YouTube world as far as these shows go. And the problem is I don't follow enough of these cases unless I'm working on it to understand. I mean, how often does Summer Wells come up? I don't know anything about that case.
Right, right.
You know?
And yeah, she's been going on a year, not even the slightest. But I don't know, what's going on in that desert. Do you know? So,
Spoken a couple of times. What
yeah,
do you got going on?
it's called Frankie Rose's Crime Time, and
Okay.
it's case updates. I don't generally call people. I just basically try and decipher between what I see people do on other people's lives, what I can get out of the newspapers, what I can get. I try to cipher through all the BS and get out as accurate as I can. So, all the BS and get out as accurate as I can. So, okay, we're off. So, yeah, I would just really like to know, we've got this Scott, Troy, and Kirk. Like, that is the creepiest family I have ever seen. I mean, that's like having three Pictons. I don't know if you're familiar with Picton in Canada.
No, no idea what that is.
Okay,
The only thing I know about Canada recently is a bunch of truck drivers block the places and nobody's allowed to have a gun up there and you have to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
And the Blue Jays are really good this year.
Are they good this year?
I think they are.
I don't watch it. Picton is a pig farmer from out by Vancouver that killed prostitutes for quite a while, and to get rid of their bodies, he was putting them through wood chippers. So, right? So yeah, he's kind of up there with Scott Wadsworth.
Okay.
That guy there, I have a hard time even looking at that no-eared these hills have eyes guy. Like, he gives off major.
Definitely not somebody you'd put your 17, 18, or 19-year-old son in the midst of for a long period of time by themselves in the desert.
Well, and this is it, how did they not have an idea that these people were out there?
I don't know. That's a $1 million question. I think when you look at the family, you could tell everybody's busy doing their own thing. Grandparents stuck him out there because he wanted to be out there. They brought it to him unbeknownst to the family. Mom has obviously got a hell of a lot of other things going on over the last 15 years between the massive amounts of men she's dated and gone through. Dad's got his own stuff with his businesses. Right. I just think this is a kid that they thought was fine out there.
Unreal. And I've heard you say it, 19, but looked 13 in midst of all those predators. Like, it's a surprise he did last out there as long as he did. He was just very easy pickings. So, do you think Dylan had a relationship with that Chase?
No, not with Chase. Okay. We're hearing last night on another show that now there is a young man that has come forward that is from another country. There may even be a sex tape now. And that's going to be very, very interesting tonight, which would vindicate me 100%. There is somebody that contacted a media outlet to contact me.
Mm-hmm.
They did not want to use the phone. They might be from another country. They met him and worked on the farm for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then that really turns this whole thing around. And I really have not worked on the case to try to find anything more about the young man or anything out there other than to just defend my name and my business against a family that's basically just throwing punches in the air. You know, they
Right.
have no real rudder, no direction. And I'm just trying to vindicate who I am. I mean, the Wadsworth clan is really bad, but then again, there's other people that this could be. I mean, that's
Right.
the crazy part about this. And I think it'll be more than one person when it's all said and done that's behind it.
You think so? Do you think that there's a possibility of them being vigilantes out there might have something to do with this as well? Like,
I think that has a lot. I think that has a lot to do with parts of the case, whether or not that has to do with his demise. I don't think, you know, he was a vigilante, so somebody killed him if he was part of that group, or he
Mhm.
was gay, so somebody killed him as part of it.
Right.
I think all of it explains what this young man was doing out there. Now, the fact that he had money, the fact that he was in that area with all those bad people, it all comes into play.
Right.
But I think after everything's all said and done, this is just going to be about maybe a robbery or wanting to kill this kid or, you know, if it's something worse than that, then, you know, who knows? But he's been out there wherever he is over a month.
Yeah.
It would be hard to believe he was alive. But then there is still a small possibility that maybe this kid just threw in the towel and left. If we're finding out stuff that the family had no idea of. And that's why it's important to know what this person's lifestyle was before it went missing, even if it offends them, because
Right.
you never know where they may be. But
Mhm.
at this point, if the FBI is out there doing this probably looks like some sort of a crime.
Well, yeah, I heard that. Now, I don't know if I can't remember if it was through you or a different program, but I had heard that they possibly found his wallet, and so I don't know if this is just a rumor, but on some kind of trail, there's a possibility that they had found his wallet.
I think they found something on that trail, which is what led them to believe that this might have been something of a crime, and that's why the FBI was involved. Don't forget, a missing person is not a crime.
Right.
A missing person, if abducted, is a crime.
Right.
But a person of legal age that disappears is not necessarily a crime. But whatever they found on that trail, i.e. a wallet,
Right.
clothes, you know, whatever that is. But,
Yeah.
you know, if they found his wallet out there and it was scattered around, or if it had blood on it or whatever, then that might be a reason to, you know, especially if somebody led them to the wallet and said, hey, here's where the crime occurred, and they said there's a wallet, well, now they know. There's been people arrested out there on unrelated charges. I think some of the people involved in this are already in custody.
So they have been picking people up, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought
Chase
so.
Venstra's in jail now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So did you know, I found this kind of interesting. I was reading up on Scott. I don't know which one of the women, someone charged him for, there was a case about how this woman, due to what he had done to her, she had lost work and had lost this money. So she literally charged him for undue stress, got a $13,000 settlement, I do believe, and then it was turned around. I think it was in 2016. But every time I would look up Scott, this case would come up, and it was.
Do you have her name? Do you have the woman's name?
No, they're not giving out the names. That's the thing. I have.
Good luck collecting that.
Right. So I looked at what their violent crime average was in Montello. So the U.S. average is 22.7 per capita, right? Montello, 56.3. Violent crimes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not including like.
And that's what's reported. That's what's reported.
That's only what's reported. Exactly.
That's like living in Quebec.
Right? Well, it's like the Wild West out there. I mean, there's mine shafts, there's
It is.
meth heads, there's thieves, vigilantes. It's unreal.
Yep, there you go. And you put a 17-year-old out there with money. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh my God. So it does really make a person wonder if that religion has anything to do with him being basically placed out in the middle of a wolf pack.
I think the family had an idea of what this kid's deal was, at least some part of it, and they, but he always wanted to do that. They gave him a shot, and I think the grandparents have got to be extremely upset that,
Oh,
and devastated that this, I mean, technically may be their fault.
I know. I know. That's how, I mean, a person always feels bad when something like this happens, and this is going to make it. And I imagine there's going to be some of the family that's going to put the blame on them for doing this.
They already have. The father had already gotten into an argument with his. Don't forget, the grandparents had 2 children.
Okay.
The 2 children that they have are adopted, but those 2 children have and share one same parent, from what I understand.
Okay.
So none of these people are biological.
Right.
So the grandparents that retained me and hired me have 2 children, which they adopted.
Mm-hmm.
And those 2 children share one of the same mom. So they're technically, I think that's how it works.
Okay.
So they're technically only half brother and sister. So it's all splintered.
Right. Unreal. Unreal. So you have been pretty much vindicated. There's very little yet to come out that you weren't bang on about when you first started this. That first recording that came out of you with you and the mom kind of getting into it at the end?
Correct. Yeah, that was the last conversation we had after I hadn't really heard from them in 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Vindication will be when I look right at that mother and that family and say, I told you so. And we're not there yet. We will be. Vindication will also be when I get those people to take down some of the stuff that's out there.
Right.
The people that have come after me on this will be exposed. I already know who 90% of these people are.
Yeah.
And the reason that that's important to me is I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen to me again. Just because they don't like what I say,
right,
doesn't mean. Now, I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't care what I go on every show. You have my phone number.
Yeah.
You see my face. We talk about my background. Nothing is out of bounds, and you could ask me anything.
Yeah.
The part that I don't like is when people do it from behind curtains. When people do it and think that their anonymity gives them the bravery to attack somebody but not have any sort of recourse.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if anybody gets in the ring with me, and I'll talk to anybody about anything and go over anything.
Right.
What I don't like is people throwing darts from the shadows, which they're just guessing because they want to be part of something because they have nothing going on. And that's what we're going to try to destroy in this whole thing. And that's why I continue to go on as many shows as possible.
Yeah.
I won't go away until this is over.
No, that's good. And there needs to be a little bit of reining in when it comes to people and their platforms anyways. This isn't the first.
Listen, as long as we know who they are, and as long as they know who we are, I don't see a problem with anything that they do as long as they're willing to be known. But to be able to defame people from fake names and I just don't see how that's productive.
Well, it's not. It's not helping anything. It's not helping the case, that's for sure. I mean, the focus needs to be on Dylan, not on some of the things that have been pointed out, right? Like everything that you've brought up, I mean, I can see where maybe they might not like it, but the case is going to go the way it's going to go. You're not directing it, you're following it. Where I'm noticing a lot of others are basically trying to set the narrative and see if they can get pieces to fit. So no, I listened to you. I watched you that first time that you were on, and I've tried to catch everything because you always let a little bit out and you're blunt, like you react. So you are reacting with what I can see as honesty. I don't like being called a bullshitter. I'm pretty straight up my own self, and I recognize that in you. And you're gonna get your feathers ruffled when someone when you're getting attacked, like you say, from the shadows. But
well, and this is kind of, and I appreciate you saying that because, and you're very, perceptive. Obviously, you have your fingers on the pulse of this stuff. But I grew up in an area in Florida, just outside of Dunedin, Florida. Do you know why Dunedin is important to the country of Canada?
No, but it almost sounds like a English name.
Dunedin, Florida is where your Toronto Blue Jays spring train.
Oh,
We have a large, the baseball team comes down there every spring. We have, where I grew up, a large contingency of snowbirds, Canadians.
right.
They come down and stay in Florida, especially if they're older. So I grew up around tons of people from Sudbury, Canada, and different parts of the country that,
Mhm.
different parts of your country that come down there. So you get to know the culture, you get to know the people. There's a lot of people from Canada that I grew up in and around that came back and forth and that my family knows. And you get to know different cultures. And, we have a lot of problems in the United States you folks just don't have. And, or don't have the abundance of. And of course, a lot of that is because of the sheer number of people.
Mhm.
But then again, you got to look at family. You got to look at different things that have to do with this. And I think a lot of it is self-inflicted. And it's amazing that we are so close to each other. We border each other.
Mhm.
And the two countries don't have anywhere near the same issues that way. It's almost incredible.
It is.
So when I look at these cases and when I deal with them, and what else is interesting is over probably the last 2 years, I have been called by a couple of people in that country, and they've been interested in having me look at a couple of cases up there.
Mhm.
The only problem is I don't know how that works as a private investigator. I've never had to leave the country for a case.
Mhm.
So I have great respect for the country. I'm a huge Canadian Football League fan. I know the season has started. They're about 4 weeks in, and so I watch everything and deal with everything when it comes to that country, but we
Nice.
just seem to have problems here in the United States that exist nowhere else, and I think it's self-inflicted.
Well, when I first started doing this, and I started doing this like a lot of people when Gabby Petito went missing. And I started to look into the US cases, and it just blows me away. I'd be afraid to leave my damn house. Like it,
Well, a lot of people say that.
yeah, all those mass shootings. And then there was one weekend, there was a mass shooting, I think it was after a baseball game. And then just down the road, there was another mass shooting at some kind of party. It was like, oh my God. Our last one was like Polytech in the, 90s, 80s, 90s? It's been a long time. It's been a long
Right.
time. But we don't.
Yeah, no, the mass shootings, but I mean, the mass shootings are dwarfed by the individual shootings. The mass shootings make,
Yeah.
13 people shot in one lump sum. But
Mhm.
then Chicago in one weekend could have 75 shootings.
Oh,
So it looks like the machine guns are the issues and that, but that's a political thing. And the
okay.
handguns are just as dangerous. I mean, more people are attacked and shot by handguns than they are automatic weapons. It's just the automatic weapons are lump sums or they're at school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's incredible. But then again, I'll play devil's advocate with you.
Mhm.
When those people were protesting in Canada and they were blocking the freeways and the highways,
Mhm.
do you know why? And they were that leader of your country tore those people apart. He let them go for a while, and he tore them apart.
Yep.
We learned a very important lesson here in the United States. You know why a president or whoever is in charge of why that would never happen here? Because we have guns.
Ah.
The reason that they were able to do what they were able to do to get rid of those people in Canada, those
Mhm.
truck drivers, the reason they were able to overtake them is
Mhm.
they had no teeth. No teeth in the lion. You
Yeah.
couldn't pull that here. The
Yeah.
reason we have guns is not for each other.
Mhm.
It's because of tyranny. It's to rise up against illegitimate government,
Yeah.
which is why that would never work here, because the government would, or whoever would be, would have to think about being met with opposition. That keeps me thinking
Okay.
we're a little bit more safe. And so I know there's mass shootings out there,
Yeah.
but yeah, and that's a whole political issue into itself. But
Right.
you're right. We have stuff here that you don't see up there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's just amazing that it exists here and continues to exist. But like I said, everything's become political.
It has. And
Even this case, being that it looks like this kid was having gay relationships, and his parents just don't want to admit it.
right. See, and that is so sad. I've watched like I said, the interviews you've been doing, and there has not been one person that says that's the sexuality is not necessarily being looked down upon. It's just that you have to look at the partner, and it looks like in this case the partner might be another male, and people are so
Right.
homophobic.
Another older male, 40 years his senior. See, to me, that's what was shocking. Not that it was a man. I see that all
Exactly.
day long.
Right.
It's the fact that the guy was 40 years older.
Right.
And he had a criminal history or he had a family with a massive criminal history. To me, that just bothered me.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there the three brothers in the Wadsworth? Is there
No, there's other siblings. I don't know the whole genealogy of the family. I do know there's a sister.
Okay.
I do know that I believe she's the one that had called me at one time, or maybe it was a niece. It's quite a big family, but no, there's more than just them. I don't know how many. And then the guy that he was messing around with has 8 children and an ex-wife out there. Long story short, it's a massive family, but she's divorced from him for quite some time now. I'm still waiting to get a call from one of his children. I guess one's in jail, and that's the one I've been trying to reach. That'd be interesting. But we'll see tonight. Tonight's aspect of this case with whatever this young man is that said he met him on Craigslist and had a relationship with him. I mean, it's like Christmas. I can't wait to talk to that guy.
So are you going to put that out, that conversation, or are you just going to kind of wing it?
They said that, well, basically I was told about it live on air last night that somebody saw me on a show, got a hold of the show through an email because they're in another country.
Yeah.
They were brutally attacked by their own family for being homosexual once it was found out, and that they had a relationship with Dylan Rounds and how they met with them. And the only real proof they said they have is some sort of an X-rated video or photographs between the two men. They don't have it on phones. They don't have it on emails. And that Dylan Rounds might have had a second phone, and that would be huge.
Okay, I've heard about that as well. I heard something about a second phone. And is this
go ahead.
Is this the 19-year-old that's been brought up?
Yes.
Okay.
And I heard about him for the first time last night on a show, and I can't wait to go on that show tonight. He reached out to one of the shows I was on. Sorry about that.
No problem.
They it looks like they just found Dylan Rounds.
No.
Yeah, in Canada. Some Canadians stole him and brought him up there. You bastards, what's wrong with you people?
Are you?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I did not find him.
Oh my
Are you out of your mind?
God, man.
Somebody from Vancouver. You know how those people are.
I was headed to the wood chipper. Jesus, man.
Yeah. In Vancouver.
Frick.
No, but go ahead. I'm sorry to put you on pause.
Oh no, hey, I understand. Like I'm grateful you're taking time for me. So I'm just sorry you got me there for a second.
Yeah.
You know,
he's not going to be and you know what? He ain't that far from Canada. Isn't it funny that all these things, Chicago, they're all happening up near that border? Maybe we're not the problem. Maybe we need to build a wall across Canada. I think that's what needs to happen here. Forget Mexico. Canadians are the issue.
We are a.
Who was the prime minister that dated the lady? Who was the prime minister? He was kind of a good-looking guy. He almost looked like an actor. And he was the prime minister who dated Kim Cattrall, or he was married to her. She was a famous actress down here on Sex and the City and
I know
and
her.
shows.
Yeah.
Who
Really?
was the guy that dated her? Yeah, who was the prime minister that dated her?
I don't recall ever having a good-looking prime minister.
Yeah, I want to say he kind of had he looked like an actor. I'm trying to think who that was. My favorite political guy, my favorite political character in that country was the guy, the big heavyset guy that was the mayor of Toronto, the guy that was caught smoking crack and all that. Who was that guy? The guy that had prostitutes, and he didn't even care. He just like, yeah, I have hookers, so what? I'm single. And then he was talking about his wife and having sex with her, but he was a big heavyset guy. Who was that guy? He later died. I think he died of a heart attack or something.
Yeah, no, D or something. Oh my God, I have no idea. I'm in Western Canada, so.
You're way out there.
Yeah, we're way out there. I'm in the middle of the Rockies.
Yeah, the only thing you guys have to worry about is Bigfoots and Yetis. Is that shit real?
Well, hell yeah. Yeah. We keep ours in the back, chained up in our shed.
I believe it. Well, what else you got? I'll try my best to finish up with you and answer everything I got, but you got me, so fire away.
Okay. So, do you think the airspace is closed down out there in Lucin?
I'm hearing different rumors that it is. I would think that with all the helicopters, drones, and crap that are flying out there, that they had to get permission to shut stuff down. So, yeah, that wouldn't shock me.
Okay, okay. And what about all these, the missing footwear and people going missing in the desert? Like there is a lot of this stuff, and I don't know that the cases are related, but at the same time, it's a very bizarre thing to be happening.
Yeah, I don't understand it. You know, I don't know why stuff like this goes on. The only thing you can do is protect yourself from it.
Right.
You know, which is why maybe it. But this kid had firearms as well. But I just think that you got to be pretty aware of your surroundings, you know, and be aware of who's around you.
Yeah, he had no cameras, right?
No cameras, no satellite phone. And I'd like to know if any of the people that listen to this program, especially in a country like Canada, where you do have so many rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got areas that are vast and just, you know, there's nobody out there, but there's a lot of people that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, have places out in those middle of nowhere. A satellite phone, I think if you have that, even if you don't use it, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
those things used to be like a couple of bucks a minute. They're probably much cheaper now. But a satellite phone would be incredible to have in those areas. So situations like this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you could track them a little bit better. You're never out of range, even if it's just for emergencies. I can't imagine somebody not having that, rolling the dice, even against animals, or you fall down and you get injured. You know, just for your own safety. I don't see why people don't take better precautions, but what do I know?
Yeah, and they really don't. When I worked up north, I worked in the oil and gas industry for a few years, and that's what we used back in the trunk
Satellite
roads.
phones. Do you know what do those? How much are those?
Oh,
Do you have to buy one? Do you know how much they are and what they charge per? I think they charge per minute. There's not like a plan, but yeah, they put oil workers and stuff have those. People in the middle of nowhere, government workers.
You bet. You bet. Yeah, we're not so much worried about it's the bears and the cougar that are up there. You need to be able to.
Right.
So let's see here. One school K through 8. So that's probably the teacher you talked to.
Yeah. Well, that's the woman who has that story out there. Do you know the name of the school? Because people find it hard to believe that exists. Do you have the name of that school?
I believe it is called Montello. I think it just is called Montello School. Montello. I looked it up, and I think it was just.
Well, I would. If you had a phone number to that school or the full name of that school, I would owe you huge. I would really, really
Let me see.
like to have that information. I thought about giving them a call today.
Let me see here. I'll see what I can do.
You could text that to me if you. I mean, you have the ability to text me.
Yep. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you have with that school, that teacher has something to do with this as far as the vigilante group out there.
Okay. Okay. I just found it, so I'll send you that information.
I would owe you huge. Yeah, there's one teacher out there.
Yeah.
One. Like a little house on the prairie. It's bizarre.
Right? Isn't that something? And 1 through 8. So, and then I guess where would they go from there?
I don't know, into the desert. I have no idea what would go on out there.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think education is, you know, I don't know. Maybe at that point they're homeschooled in high school or they go to online education. But yeah, I don't think that it's, you know, I don't think that the education is the biggest thing out there at this point.
So, Dylan and Ellen, is their last name Berg?
Berg, and I don't know if that's B-E-R-G-H or B-E-R-G, but Dylan and Ellen Berg, they're mother and son.
Okay. Did you get a chance to talk to them?
Oh, yeah, they talked to me continuously. I was talking to them before the son came on air and after the show and yesterday. And
are they
safe? He even texted me he texted me last night and said he's starting to get death threats that if he ever goes on the radio again, he'll be next. And that's happened pretty much over the last 24 to 48 hours. But those were text messages he sent me, and I told him to get an app on his phone where people can't call them with a blocked number. So we'll see how that goes for him. So
are they willing to leave that area?
I don't know financially that they want to or that they can. I don't know. I mean, they're pretty set in their ways. I mean, where would they go? Where do you go and for how long?
Right.
And then what do you come back to? Just because if these people don't have anything to do with Dylan's disappearance and the people that they're scared of might still be there. Yeah. You know, if the Wadsworths don't have anything to do with this, they're still going to be there.
That's right. That's right. Oh, it's just a scary damn situation. So I haven't looked. I'll have to check to see how long it'd take the cops to get out there on an emergency call.
2 hours. I was told
2
almost 2
hours.
hours.
Oh my God. Montello Elementary School, 4 students.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only like 200 people out there.
Right?
So yeah, I would be. So it was. Is there 2 schools, and there's Montello Elementary and there's Montello School?
No, there's just the Montello Elementary School, K through 8.
Yeah, that's the school I need to reach. So if you
Yep.
text that over to me, I'd be huge.
Yep, absolutely. But you know, I think I've probably bugged you enough. I really
Well,
appreciate
you
it.
got my number. If there's anything you need to follow up on or want to record later, you got me 24/7. It's just hard. I can't call you from my cell phone because of where you're at.
Right.
I'd have to Facebook you, but I really appreciate you at least giving me the opportunity. And anything you ever want to ask me at any time, even if it's about another case you want me to look into it because of what I've got as far as. But it sounds like you're a hell of a lot more clerical and have a hell of a lot more background than I do on this. You've really done your homework. My research in this, other than certain aspects, kind of stops as of about 10 days ago. But
No, fair
yeah,
enough.
so I appreciate it.
No, and I appreciate you as well. Same thing. If there's ever anything, I don't really get on there and do the lives and do all of that stuff, but I do like to keep everything as accurate and get the stuff out there so people can go to one spot and actually get the truth. That's just basically, you know, and try and help get some of these people home. It's sad and it's scary. So if ever
Yeah.
you want
Well,
to,
I've had a lot of cases over 7 years, and I don't even think this is my most interesting one, whether it was Michaela Nelson or Lori Cockrell. For some reason, this has captured a lot of people. I think the gay aspect of it, with the way the culture is now, is a situation where it has kind of been a lightning rod, and I think a lot of people have clammed onto this case because of those things, because of the possibility that he was and whether the parents wanted to or not. There's a major aspect of this that you did not hit on, or maybe you did a little bit, which is that the grandparents in the family are part of the Church of Latter-day Saints.
yes,
And we've got, and being gay in that religion is a big no-no.
it is.
Especially amongst the ones that are older. And I think that has a lot to do with this, too. That cannot be overlooked,
When-
at least not with the reaction of the family is.
When you were on Tyler's show last night,
Yes.
one of the people that was commenting said that they're actually elders in that church. So that was,
Yes, they're high up
yeah, that's
in Idaho. They're high up. And once again, Idaho borders Canada, so it's not too far from that border. So, yeah, and it's one of those things where I think that they knew or maybe had some idea, and it was the fact that I went public. Like I said, there was
yeah,
a week's worth of conversations that it wasn't an issue, and then they pick apart one conversation where things go crazy, put it on the internet, and that lady's going to wish she didn't do that, especially after the anonymity is gone. But
yeah,
it's just one of those things where I think that in time it'll all kind of be connected, and everybody will be a little bit right in this. I don't think there's going to be one thing that shocks everybody unless he's still alive. And
right,
he has quite a story to tell after over a month.
right. You know, I'm interested. You were talking about that fishing rod type tool that you put down into these caves to see if they can pick up decomp.
Gases of the body, yeah. I'm not a search and rescue guy. That has nothing to do with what I do, but I
Isn't that
heard about that.
interesting?
Yeah, I heard about that, and somebody on another show with a background in that
Mhm.
made a comment about it the other day. But I don't know, I don't know if they're using that. I just was told if he is out there, you find the hole first, and that's how you kind of get to where somebody might be. I
Right.
don't know much about that world other than what I just told you there. And I thought that was pretty interesting as to how they would find it. I figured they just went down each hole with binoculars. They've
Yeah,
got much more advanced ways. But here's what people understand. Well, just get airplanes. Use night vision. Use this, use that. Things cost money.
right.
Some of those airplanes are $20,000 an hour to fly.
Unreal.
Who's fitting the bill for that for one person?
Yeah,
I mean, we got a border on the southern part of this country that is wide open.
right.
And the drugs and the criminal activity that's pouring across, whether you believe in one side or the other, and I'm not on one side or the other,
Hmm.
is massive.
Yeah,
Let's put all those resources down there. Let's do that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, we're sending stuff to other countries. We're dealing with other things, and we're spread thin enough as it is here. By the way,
Yeah.
gas is $5 a gallon for your car.
Yeah.
Imagine what it is to fly these airplanes. So
right.
people have a lot of great ideas,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's not very plausible for them to put those kind of resources, with all due respect for one missing adult.
Right, right. Well,
But I appreciate it.
There was one group that took their helicopter out there and did some searching, and they put it online. It's a YouTube channel.
There was some guy. He looks like a pro wrestler.
That's him.
And I guess he's Jake Paul's. He's a YouTube guy, and he got like 2 million hits. And what other YouTube people have said is the guy pretty much, he shows you a lot of neat pictures, but it was more about him doing it than it was finding anything.
Right.
But then again, I think he did find a dead body in the desert.
Yeah, that 41-year-old.
Yeah, who the hell was that guy? Does anybody have his name?
Not yet. I'm on it.
Yeah, why not release that guy? I mean, there's a guy that they actually found. I'm sure his parents, I would love to call his parents. Who knows what that was about? Good Lord, they find somebody out there and they don't even, that poor guy I'm surprised they didn't run over him looking for Dylan. I mean, good Lord.
I know. Well, even on that, Daniel Robertson's case, he was found. Well, no, he has not been found, but they found his vehicle, they found his boots. And they've been out there for months and months and months looking for this guy. And the only thing they found has been his boots.
Jeez, oh man.
Yeah, and
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. There's that. There's also those girls from Moab. They were, mind you, they were camping in that area, but they had no boots. And then this other kid, Clune, is that his last name?
Yeah, his family hired me. His mom hired me. She's batshit crazy. That whole family's whack jobs. The family of Dylan Rounds got a hold of them after they contacted me and hired me, and they wanted nothing more to do with it. The mother sent me a text message that I have that shows that boy might have been into some goofy shit as well, drag and older men, and he also had some mental issues. Yeah, he walked into the desert. He probably met some exposure, but then again, they never found his body. Tracked him for a boatload of miles, but didn't find him. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to see what I can find out about this 41-year-old. When they were looking for Daniel, they were finding all sorts of bodies throughout the desert. Like, they weren't finding him, but they're finding a dead guy over there, a skull over there, and it's like, holy hell. And then there was a woman that you were talking to last night on Tyler's show, and she's from the other side, and she was talking about the meth heads patrolling the meth heads.
Yeah, that's those vigilante groups out there. I mean, you would almost have to do that. I think they had a pretty good thing going out there. Before I let you go, they had a pretty good thing going out there. And I think the cops didn't have to really police it much. It policed itself. And those who got lost in the shuffle were criminals anyways. Well, that kid turned that upside down on its ear now. It'll never be the same. And I think, whatever's left of that place, it obliterated. From what I understand, since I've been opening my mouth, there hasn't been much crime in that town. I think the criminals are kind of taking a break. We'll see. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Just let me know when you go with your show and it's out there and I could hear myself ramble on. I appreciate it. And thank you for all the information. You've really, really done a good job of researching this, better than I could.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, same thing. If there's ever anything that you want to get out there, get a hold of me and I'll put your words out there. It. Yeah, you bet.
Thank you. God bless. And text me over that information about that school if you haven't already. Thank you so much.
You betcha. Have a great night or a great day, I guess.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.